Working with unstructured data, such as PDF documents, remains one of the biggest challenges that many organizations face in 2026. To show us how Databricks helps customers address this pain point, I have with me Archika from Databricks. Archika will show us how we can turn unstructured legal documents into structured data using two Databricks functions that are powered by AI, and then turn a proof of concept into a real production pipeline, which is one of the biggest challenges that organizations face today, turning AI into a real production use case. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josh. And just to provide a little bit more color on why we're building what I'm about to show you today, let me kind of step back and talk about some of the customers. We've been talking to hundreds of customers over the past year and some of the main pain points that they're facing when they're trying to build intelligent document processing pipelines, however they're doing this today. So as we all know, tons of data is trapped in enterprise documents. These could be medical records, contracts, invoices, financial documents. There's a wide range of really key insights that are trapped behind these PDFs, essentially, or other file types. And when LLMs came out, we were like, oh my God, LLMs are going to fix all of this. This is going to be perfect. But we've been talking to customers and actually hearing a few pain points and main frictions that like a lot of people are running into. And so as customers are trying to build these intelligent document processing pipelines, the first wall that they hit is accuracy. So they're trying to stitch together generic LLMs on their messy enterprise documents and complex tables, non-standard layouts, bad scans. All of that is basically inhibiting the ability to turn that document into a structured insight while they're building out this pipeline. And so what we really did to solve this problem through these functions that I'm about to show you is we actually threw our research team behind these tasks. So basically in these pipelines, there's a lot of steps that customers are trying to do. They're trying to parse these documents into structured layouts that can be then downstream consumed by a variety of agentic workflow. They're trying to classify these documents and they're trying to extract structured key insights from the documents. So we have our research team working on all of these different tasks to optimize the functions that I'm about to show you today to real-world enterprise documents. So we're constantly trying out the best and latest techniques so that you don't have to. We're benchmarking this against alternatives, and we're really trying to push the bar on how high quality we can get these document processing pipelines to be when you run them in Databricks. The second issue that we saw a lot of people face was that, okay, maybe they get the quality that they need, but scale is a huge issue. So the POC looks great on running this pipeline on 100 documents, but the moment you want to get to 100,000, like cost explodes, latency kills your SLAs, like all of the things go wrong at that step, and all of your POCs get shut down. So another thing that our research team has been optimizing for is obviously matching like the state-of-the-art quality that we're seeing in the market, but how do we make that way cheaper? So for example, our parsing solution is 3 to 5 times cheaper than state-of-the-art competitors. And that's been something that we really wanted to optimize for so that customers could run these workloads on millions of pages and it not be inhibited by cost or throughput concerns. And then the last one is, let's say you figured out scale and quality. The fragmentation crisis when you're building intelligent document processing pipelines today is really real. So maybe you build that first pipeline, but a lot of our customers are actually calling like 5 different APIs and their data is moving in and out of their security perimeter to all these different services. And then there's like custom glue code everywhere to try to get the parsing to connect to the classification, to try to connect to the downstream extraction and routing that's happening. There's no lineage, there's no governance. It's like really impossible to maintain. And then also turn that from like your first pipeline that you're building to the next 100. Because every time you're going through this exercise and stitching together a really brittle pipeline. And so because these functions live in the lakehouse, they're chainable and directly composable in Lakeflow and governed end-to-end by Unity Catalog and Lineage. This makes a really easy story to operationalize and productionize 100 pipelines, not just one. And so that's kind of the history of like what we saw people running into over and over again and why we built some of these AI functions. And I think it'll make a lot more sense when I demo it. So that's what I'm like really super excited to get into today. So as you can see, I am in my Databricks workspace right now. And as a quick call out, what you're actually seeing is a preview of some of these features that are about to be released. So Josh is getting kind of a sneak peek during this demo of what's going to land in your workspaces. It might look a little bit different, but the crux of everything is here, which is what I'm excited to show you guys today. So the task that I'm going to take upon myself is I'm going to pretend that I'm a data engineer. And my company gets a ton of legal contracts every single day that are coming in that we need to track, monitor, and extract key insights from. So what legal parties are involved, etc. And what's going to happen downstream is that these are going to power alerting systems, downstream analytics. I'm going to build a chatbot on top of it. There's a lot of downstream use cases for extracting this key information. So we want this data to live in the lakehouse in that form. And so where I'm going to start today is with the information extraction agent, which is going to basically take in my legal contract PDFs and it's going to turn it into structured insights. And the way I can get started here on this page is in a few different ways. I can actually directly upload, drag and drop these folders into this landing zone here, or I can select it from a table or volume that's already in Unity Catalog. And before I select it, one thing I really want to call out that makes this experience especially delightful is that we're building a bunch of Lakeflow connectors right now, and a lot of them are kind of already in beta and going to be released into public preview shortly from unstructured data sources like SharePoint, Google Drive, etc., where a lot of our customers' documents live. And these AI functions work really seamlessly with our Lakeflow connectors. Today, I have my legal contracts already in a volume. So I'm going to select the volume, and it's called Legal Contracts. Go figure. And here are some examples of some of the contracts we have today. And I'm going to set off to the races and create my extraction function. And so it's validating the data. It's going to now start parsing this data. So my contracts are scanned. They're messy. We're going to take the time to basically start parsing these contracts into structured text. And while I'm waiting for that to happen, I can actually, in natural language, define what I want to extract out of this contract so that it's really easy to get started. So over here, I'm just going to close this so we have more space. I'm going to say, like, extract the legal parties involved. What else? The agreement date, expiration date, and governing law for these contracts. Okay, so I've given it a natural language instruction, and then I'm going to click Generate Schema, which will intelligently auto-generate a schema based off of the instructions that I gave it. Cool. Okay, so two things have happened in the last 5 seconds. On the left side, you can see that the schema has been generated based off of the natural language instructions that I gave my function. And so we have legal parties here, which is an array of strings, which makes sense to me, agreement date, and then an expiration date along with the governing law. So everything seems to be good. On the right-hand side, what we see is we see the parsed output of the document. So we've detected the titles, the headers of the sections, the text, and all of this is kind of ready for downstream extraction, classification, whatever I want to do with it next, which in this case, we're going to extract. So I'm going to click Save and Run Extraction. And what we're going to do now is basically see, can we get these key entities that I care about out of these multi-page contracts that started off as PDFs. And it looks like it did a pretty decent job. So here I can kind of see, okay, my agreement date, I have something sensible here. Expiration date is after the agreement date, must be right. Governing law, the legal parties involved. This is pretty awesome. And I'm pretty happy with the results. If I wanted to, or if I saw something that was wrong here, what I could also do is I could actually go and provide feedback if you look to the bottom right. And so this is just natural language feedback where if I had an issue with this, I could be like, date should be formatted as like 11/25, 2019, across any dates, for example. Like I can give it feedback on how I want this extraction to operate, save that feedback, and then the next time that I run the extraction, it'll basically apply that feedback to my agent. So this is like a pretty awesome iterative cycle. You can actually already see that it's enhanced from my feedback really fast. So it changed in the description what the formatting of the date should be. So now I'm like pretty happy with the results. You can iterate and like kind of go through different responses on like a sample of a few contracts. You can add more to kind of treat this almost as like a playground for how to iterate and improve on your function here. But the real question is, how do I operationalize this into a pipeline? So I need to put this into production. I need this to take in all my contracts that are coming in every single day. I need it to be robust. I need observability. And I need it to be like highly composable end to end to get the insights that I care about. Well, the good news is that it's super easy. You can basically click use agent here. And one of the options is to actually create an ETL pipeline. So I've already created a pipeline from one of the agents that I built. So I'm going to go to that because I've already run it, and I think it'll be a lot easier to see that there. Okay, so this is my Spark declarative pipeline, IDE, and I'm going to walk you through basically what we're doing here and what that agent that I showed you in the last step from that UI actually spit out in terms of what I can operationalize from day 0. So the SQL that I'm getting here is pretty simple. All I have to do is first build my like silver table using AI parse document, and I am pointing that here to a volume of the contracts that I showed you as I was setting this up. And once I parse the documents, and why it's kind of important to have a silver table is, again, there's multiple downstream things you might want to do on this data, and you don't want to have to reparse it every single time. Like, what if tomorrow I actually want to extract 5 different insights, or I have a different use case that these contracts need to be used for? Save some money, save some time, just parse it once, and then, stick it in whatever pipeline is necessary. So that's my silver table. And then what's really awesome is that AI extract understands completely whatever AI parse document produces. So it's just pointing to the output of the document parsing function. And here we go. We're just extracting some of the key entities that I care about. And you can see in the API what that schema looks like. If you want to tweak it outside of the UI, it's really easy. And it's in your Spark declarative pipeline. So that's kind of what the SQL under the hood looks like. But let's take a look at what actually is getting generated here. So as you can kind of see from the right side, this is my pipeline, 2-step pipeline, silver table of parsed documents, gold table of extracted documents. And I'm currently looking at the extraction step. And I can pretty much see the output object that I'm getting for every single contract that I've extracted over here. And it looks just like it was in the UI. And now this basically, I can explode this data. I can use it however I want. This is the structured insights that I care about for any downstream system that I'm building. All natively, running in Spark declarative pipelines, end-to-end lineage across your medallion architecture, empowered by these AI functions that are high quality and then also really effective at scale. And so I have one extra credit, sort of, that I did, which is, okay, now that I've extracted these key insights, who cares? If they're just going to sit in a table and do nothing, they're not actually useful to me. So what's some way that I can maybe talk to this data, query this data, understand what's happening under the hood, thanks to this extraction? So I really quickly just threw together a Genie space, honestly, in 30 seconds over this extracted metadata. And so if I go to Genie here, here is my Genie space, legal contract analysis. And so I'm just going to ask a question. Let's say, how many contracts are under the jurisdiction of Colorado? Okay. Because that was one of the things that I remember I really cared about extracting. And let's send Genie out there and see what it comes up with. And I didn't have too many contracts in this, so okay, cool. Yeah, one contract that it found under the jurisdiction. I can use this to ask other questions, like which contracts are expiring this year. There's tons of cool things that I can do now that I have this structured insights in a table within my lakehouse. So yeah, this is kind of a end-to-end very quickly of how you can turn that PDF that's really messy into something that's actually an actionable insight.
Every time I've gone to a Databricks World Tour event, the ability to bring data from, or to extract data from PDFs into structured data inside the Unity catalog is one of the things that over and over again, many customers tell me that they love this capability. And the fact that your team has worked on refining it even more, making it making it easier than it even was before. I think lots of excitement ahead. So thank you so very much for your time, and of course, try out Genie too because that's just an awesome feature. So
Yeah, we love Genie. And
yeah,
yeah, thank you so much for having me. And exactly what you said, our goal is to make document intelligence as easy as possible on Databricks, but not just easy in the on the demo day, but easy to productionize. So as you're trying it out, let us know if you have any feedback, and our team would love to hear it.